Hi guys and welcome. Today I'm going to do two different looks using the newly released, this is the Dior limited edition Holiday, the Couture makeup case, and they release this each year and I have bought the previous 3 years, so I will show the last 3 years side by side with this new release. But first of all, I have got my primer on. I put that on about 3 minutes ago, so now I'm just going to put on some foundation, and today I've pulled out the Dior the Forever Skin Glow. This is a beautiful foundation. And I also reviewed, it was earlier this year, the Dior released the Hydro Glow one. Now this one isn't, I don't think it's as glowy as the Hydro Nude, and this just suits my oily skin really perfectly. In fact, it's a foundation that would really suit people with all skin types. So I'm just going to do the left side of my face first. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing this because I want to get into this beautiful limited edition holiday release from Dior. And the brush that I'm putting this on with today is a Chantecaille foundation brush. This is a newer release from them, and I only got it a few days ago, and I really like it for putting foundation on. It's dense, but it's also firm enough as well just to apply foundation really beautifully. So if you want a foundation that has a solid medium coverage, then this is definitely the foundation for you. You can have it, share it if you want to, but it does build up to that solid medium, and that's how I'm going to wear it today. And I did one full pump, but I don't know whether I'll actually be using it all. I'll just see. I may need to build it up a little bit through here. It is such a beautiful foundation. So just with a little bit more, I'm just going to just build up through here and put a little bit more over here with my sunspot and just stipple that in. But I've got that much left on my hand and I won't be using that. And then for concealer, I'm using the Dior Forever Skin Correct. Just put a little bit in a corner, make sure I've got an even amount. Then I'm going to take my BK Beauty brush and blend that out, and then probably off camera, but what I do before I powder this down, I just press over using my fingers as well. This is a really beautiful concealer. I recently reviewed the new Chanel one, and that is gorgeous too, but this one is really beautiful and definitely one of the concealers that I reach for a lot. So off camera, I've done my eyebrows, put on some eyeshadow primer. I'm not quite sure why, because I'm going to do two different looks, but it's just a habit. I've also powdered under my eyes as well. Now for the rest of my face, I'm going to use, this is the fairly new, this is the Dior Forever Nude Matte Filter. Mine is in the shade 02 Light. I also picked up the Radiant powder as well, and I did a dedicated video on both of these. So if you want to take a look, I'll pop a link up there. But these powders are just beautiful, and there's no longer the pattern in here. That's how much I have been using it a lot. What they do is they just give this beautiful, beautiful finish to my skin, and they also have this really gorgeous blurring effect as well. What I do is I just pick up a small amount each time and just sweep it over my face, and it really does blur. And I love how these also work with oily skin as well by keeping those oils at bay. But once you've got it on, you can see it's not heavy, not cakey, and it just perfects your foundation. I think these are really, really beautiful. For the bronzer, I'm going to use the Dior Forever, the Nude Bronze. This is in the Radiant one. Although when they say it's radiant, it's not. It's very, very subtle, but it does give this just this beautiful radiance to the skin. I also bought one in matte, but this is the one that I tend to reach for more. And this is a Sonia G brush that I'm using to put this on. I've used it with quite a few different brushes, and it works beautifully with all the different brushes that I have. It's just that the one that I normally use, that has not long been washed, so I thought I would bring out this brush. And this one is called the Niji Pro, So I'm not going to put too much bronzer on. I just really want that subtle warmth. And also the packaging on, that was the powder and this the bronzer. I love the packaging. I think that they're just really beautiful. So now let's get into this gorgeous eyeshadow. I just love the story when I saw promo pics of this and I knew that I was going to get it, and I have picked up the last 3 years. And if this formula is like the previous 3 years, then it's going to go on really, really beautifully. So these are the Dior Couture Iconic Eye Makeup cases. This is this year's packaging and it is circus themed. Now inside here, there are 10.21 grams of product. It is made in France, and just like with all Dior other eyeshadows, it says it has a use by label of 6 months from date of opening, but they last a lot longer than that. And I actually used not this one, but the bigger holiday palette that gets released as well, one that's now 3 or 4 years old. I used it the other day and it still worked absolutely beautifully. So now on the back they have a long sticker, and if you want to see the ingredients, what you do is you just peel this across like that, and then you can take a look at the ingredients as well. Now I'm not sure whether all the eyeshadows in here are satins or there's a mixture of matte and satins, but I'll know once I've swatched it, because I've taken photos of this in natural light, and I actually popped the photo up here for you to take a look at, but I actually haven't tried it yet. So this is what the outside packaging looks like. Try not to get it to reflect too much, but as always, it's just absolutely beautiful. And this is what the packaging of the eye palette looks like. So it's got the canage patterning on it, and it actually feels soft, and it has these little gold stars over it, and across here you've got the Christian Dior logo on a gold bar. Now last year, I think it was last year, with the size palette you could pull the bar down, but you couldn't with the previous 2 years. I think that's how it went, but last year you could, and this year you can't pull the bar down either. And on the side where you lift the palette up, you also have a gold star here. So inside the packaging you have quite a long double-ended brush. So on one end you've got the sponge tip, and then on this end you've got the brush. And I probably won't use it today, maybe the sponge tip I might. I have used them in the past and they do apply the makeup really, really well. And once you lift the cover up, there is a really generous size mirror in here, and you can actually fold the cover right back as well. So here is the color story. I think this is just absolutely beautiful, and then you've also got this really gorgeous embossing on there as well. So this one here is from 2024. This is last year's one, so you can see the color story is completely different. The next one I'm holding up is from 2023, and it had a velvet type cover on it, also with a gold bar, but the gold bar didn't move down. So once again you can see the color story is completely different to this year's one. And the last one that I have in my collection, this one here, that is from 2022, and again a completely different color story. And this one here I didn't use too long ago either, probably about 2 or 3 months ago, and it just performed beautifully. So here it is swatched from left to right. So this shade here, this one, and this one, those are all satins. And the final shade, this lovely deep brown, that one is a matte. For my first look, I'm just going to focus on these couple of shades here and use the gold. So I've got my Rapha number 14 brush, and I'm going to start off with this shade here. This one is a satin. And just like with the other palettes that I've used in previous years that I showed you, there is quite a bit of pickup. So I'm just going to go fairly easy with this. Pick up a little bit more if I need to. This is a really lovely soft shade. So I have picked up just a little bit more. I just want a little bit more depth. And it is blending out really beautifully. So what I'm doing is just taking it through the crease and up onto the brow bone as well. Now you can go higher if you want to on your brow bone, but really with my everyday makeup, I take it to about there, and that's really as far as I go. But of course everyone's different, and you just do whatever makes you happy. So I'm going to stay with that shade. I've got the Rapha number 3, and I'm going to put a little bit of this on my lower lash line. Next, I'm going to go into this deeper shade here. I'm just using my Rapid number 14. Again, I haven't wiped it down since I'm going into a deeper shade. And I'm just going to put this in the outer corner. This is going to be a very easy eye look to do, but it's pretty much a stock standard eye look that I do as well. Often with my everyday makeup, I use 2 or 3 shades and always go deeper in the outer corner and lighten it up on the rest of my lid. But I always think it is a really pretty eye look as well, and it's one really that can just take you anywhere throughout the day. And then if you wanted to go out for the evening and you wanted to smoke it up more, you could easily do that as well. And then again, using the number 3 and staying with that shade, I'm also going to put a little bit of this on my lower lash line as well, but I'm just going to keep this one to the outer third. And then finally, I'm going into this gold shade here. I've got my Rapid number 02, and I'm going to place that over the rest of my lid. So off camera, I just put on a little bit of eyeliner and a little bit of mascara. I use a Dior eyeliner, and here is the finished eye look. And even though this is quite a simple eye look, I still think it is really, really pretty. I think the shades work really well. I think they're really pigmented, and I also think they blend beautifully as well. So now I'm going to wash this off, and I'll be back and do the second eye look. So for the second look, I'm going to start off again using the shade. I have wiped down my brushes on my microfiber cloth that I have in front of me. So with this shade, again, I'm just going to do the same thing that I did previously. Take it through the crease and up onto the brow bone as well. And then exactly the same as before, using my Rapid number 3, same shade. I'm also going to run this again on my lower lash line. Now for this eye look, I'm going to stay away from the gold shade. So next we're going to go into this gorgeous shade here using my Rapid number 14. And with this, I'm going to take this all over my lid. That is really, really pretty. Actually, that's just beautiful just by itself. It's really, really gorgeous. And this is a satin, just like most of them in here, apart from this shade here. It's blending out beautifully, and I don't find that it emphasizes the texture on my eyes. And then just staying with this shade, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit on my brow bone, but just in the center. So just take it through the crease a bit and just bring it up into the middle. Then I'm going to go into this deepest shade here, pick up a small amount. Again, I'm going to put this in the outer corner, but I'm also going to put this deeper shade just through here as well, but I'm just going to do the outer corner first. I've only picked up a small amount. I'll add a little bit more if I need to, but at this stage, I just want to keep it just fairly soft until I start to see the look come together. Then I've just got a smaller brush to do the inner part through here with this deeper shade. So again, just go in quite lightly and just sweep some through here. Just going to pick up a little bit more, and I'm also taking a little bit of that shadow up through here as well. And I haven't gone back in the pan to do this, it's just what's left on my brush, and just blending it out through there. And then staying with this shade, I'm going to run this just like I did last time on my lower lash line, and just keeping to the outer third. Then I've just grabbed a smaller brush, and finally I'm going to go into this shade here. It's like an icy pink. It's really beautiful, and I'm just going fairly careful with it, and I'm going to place this in the center of my lid just to add that really beautiful lightness, and it goes really beautiful over top of the shade here. That's the one that I put all over my eyelid. So I'm just going to just gently tap in there again, just place a little bit more on, and then I'm also going to put a little bit up on my brow bone as well. Then by doing that, I've lost a little bit of depth in the outer corner. So I've just grabbed this brush again and going into this deeper shade and just add that back in again, just to give me that depth. I've just got a clean fluffy brush and I'm just going to just blend it out just through here, just to soften out any edges. Then I'm staying with this shade. I've got a clean brush and I'm just going to put a little bit of this in the corner as well. So off camera, I just put on the same eyeliner, same mascara, and here is the finished eye look. And I think this is really pretty. Now, I do think this is suitable for everyday type of makeup, but I also think it'd be really beautiful in the evening as well. That pink shade, this one that I put through the middle here, is really beautiful and it really elevates the look. I just think this is really pretty. So for blush, I'm going to use a Dior one. This is the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow. This isn't one of the limited edition ones. This is one of the ones that was released a little while ago. I'm just going to use a Rapid brush. This one is in the shade Toffee. So I'm actually going to use two blushes today. I'm going to put this one on first. I love this shade. I think it's just beautiful. And over the top of that, I'm going to use one of the Dior Backstage, the Rosy Glow Sticks. This is in the shade Lilac. And what I'm going to do is grab a Sonia G brush and just sweep it over the top. And I'm just, to begin with, just put a little bit through the apples and see what that looks like. I thought the shade would look really pretty. Really pretty with this eye look. And that is just the look I was after. I think it looks gorgeous. I think these pair beautifully together. And of course with this you get that really beautiful glow, but it's not too much. It's just this very subtle lit from within glow. I think it's really pretty. And for lipstick, I'm going to use a Dior lip liner and also one of their matte lipsticks and also one of the lip glow butters over the top. And here is the finished look, and I love the way that this turned out. This palette is gorgeous from the outside packaging, just beautiful. I love the white. I also love the patterning on it as well, and also the little stars. And it just feels really beautiful as well. And of course the color story inside, it's just beautiful. I really like the first eye look I did. Of course, it's a little bit more simpler than the one that I've got on now, but of course the browns and gold always work really beautifully together. But I really love this second look that I did. These two shades here are just absolutely beautiful. I mentioned how at the start of this video when I saw the promo pictures for this that I knew that I would have to have it because I just thought the color story was just gorgeous and it hasn't disappointed. Now with this one you may find that you get a little bit of fallout because this is more of a shimmer than a satin, the shade here, so you have to just go fairly carefully with your brush. Now because I went carefully I didn't get any fallout, but if you're in a rush or you were digging into the shadow a little bit, then you possibly could get some fallout. The other way around it, of course, if you want to, and you could always wet your brush and use this, but I think it's gorgeous and I think that it really elevated the look as well. They all blended just beautifully, and I'll say it again, but the color story is just so beautiful. And I really like the two different Dior blushes that I used, the powder one and the glow stick. I think both of those shades look gorgeous. And as always, everything that I've put on my face today, it is listed and linked in the description box below. I also picked up the other Dior palette. That's the face and eye palette. That's one with the quint, the blushes, the highlights, and also the lipsticks as well. So I will put that video up probably sometime later this week. week. I haven't used that one yet either, but I think also that looks really beautiful. So let me know in the comments below whether you have picked up this palette or you have picked up the other one, or what you're picking up from other parts of the Dior Holiday that has recently been released as well. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.